What's up, workforce? Brian here for Work to Game. I hope you're having a good day. I know I am. So let's talk. So Stormblood needs more 8-man dungeons, plain and simple. I know a lot of you might be thinking, well, we have 2 8-man dungeons. They were in a Realm Reborn and they are awful. And I can't blame you for thinking that way. But at the time, they weren't awful. The one real main drawback has been and still exists today is the hours of cutscenes that exist in those 2 dungeons. Full disclosure, at the time, I was one of those guys saying, watch and enjoy your cutscenes. Final Fantasy is so story driven, I enjoyed the cutscenes, and so I really want people to have that experience. Years later, I'm somebody who doesn't run those at all and purposely avoids them. I still want people to enjoy their cutscenes, but when people are going in and running that content, it just feels like it takes forever. Or, and this is really what ends up happening right now with so many cutscenes in those dungeons, the people watching the cutscenes don't get to experience the fights or anything like that because everybody just kind of steamrolls through the dungeon, and then you get your clear and you are like, well, I either skipped a cutscene or 2, I really don't know the fights. That also leads to problems with getting people to go back into the dungeon. So how can they fix it? The first and obvious answer is not to include story-based cutscenes in an 8-man dungeon. The second one is just make it 1 tank, 2 healers, 5 DPS. A lot of the concern that people have with the fact that we're getting 2 DPS jobs in Stormblood is that the queue times are going to be crazy. But they don't have to be. If you think of kind of a simple ratio, I mean, heck, even 1 tank, 1 healer, 6 DPS could end up being a viable group for an 8-man dungeon. Helps bring in more DPS and helps balance out the ratio. Just making it 1 tank would help reduce that burden and bring more people into that content faster. And that's just what we've seen, especially when you look at the likes of the 24-man with that's set up with 1 tank and so forth. They had the first phase of Crystal Tower, the Labyrinth of the Ancients, set at a 2 tank, 2 healer, 4 DPS. And the queue times for that were much longer. They adjusted it for Sirius Tower and for the World of Darkness, and that ended up solving a lot of the queue time issues with the 24-mans. And so you can see with the Heavensward, they kept that same kind of ratio. So why? Why 8-mans? You know, I asked this question to myself right now, and the answer I'm kind of coming up with is the potential is there for really interesting dungeons. And I think at the same time, if I'm being real honest with myself, is that I'm feeling burned out on 4-man. 4-man dungeons, the roulettes, the expert roulette, and I knew this was going to happen probably around this time in the patch cycle, especially with 3.5. You run the same dungeons over and over again, and they just get really repetitive, and they're really straightforward. So when Yoshi P's on stage talking about challenging new dungeons, I'm wondering if that really means that a 4-man dungeon is going to be challenging. I think it should be. I think it can be. You've got less to manage in terms of people. I think that an 8-man dungeon should be challenging in its own right, but if you have a backup healer, that means if a healer goes down, then there's not a complete wipe and things like that. Now, I don't think that this should mean that we completely get rid of a 4-man dungeon. I think that they should introduce 8-man dungeons into a regular cadence of updates. Hopefully we'll see some 8-mans as a part of the climb from 60 to 70. But even if we don't, that, you know, come 4.1 and 4.2, that they start to cycle them in. If we're only getting 2 dungeons per patch, I highly doubt that we will see anything else. But hopefully we'll see the return of more dungeons per patches, as well as maybe making one of those dungeons, if they go with at least more than 2, 3 or 3 or more, who knows, having kind of that 8-man cadence to keep introducing that and giving us an option. So obvious challenges that we have with it are, are they going to be cycled into the current roulette system, or would an 8-man have its own roulette? Would they offer their own rewards? Or, so there's so many things and questions that they would have to address with Stormblood and with an 8-man. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying that I want them. Now, this is a conversation, so I'm very interested in what y'all think. Should 8-mans make a return? Obviously, taking them out, that I'm not asking for massive amounts of cutscenes in them, and I'm also not thinking that they need to have 2 tanks and 2 healers. So, with those 2 kind of, caveats in mind, do you think 8-mans should make a return? If so, let me know in your comments below what you'd like to see with an 8-man dungeon. If you don't, let me know as well why you don't want to see an 8-man dungeon return. And, let's have that conversation. I'm curious as to what everybody thinks and feels about that topic. I think, again, to summarize, I think it would help solve and lessen the burden on queues for dungeon content. And I think that it would offer unique opportunities for the dungeons to change them up a bit, to kind of get them out of their repetitive nature that we've seen for the last at least couple of months, if not more. So anyway, I don't want to ramble too much. My name is Brian. This is Work to Game. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. Welcome to all our new subscribers. You guys are amazing. If you haven't subscribed, we hope you do. We hope this is the video that does it for you. Anyway, until next time, I hope you have a fantastic week. Hey, it's me. Thanks so much for watching this video. You should click here to subscribe and here to maybe check out some more of our videos. So again, thanks for watching. We hope you like this video. We hope you subscribe and join our community. Let us know in the comments below what you think, and we'll see you next time.